Well, hello there, and welcome back to Cityline. It is great to be in your home. We are zooming from my kitchen, and we have a fabulous hour ahead of us. Later on, we'll be talking with John Douglas Rake. He'll be here from, of course, Tacoma Musical Playhouse, talking about some holiday tunes that you can be a part of via Zoom. Sharon Chambers Gordon will be here, and she is here with Raising Girls. And if you don't know what Raising Girls is, well, buckle your seatbelt because you're about to find out. The Humane Society is here, and I have the pleasure and privilege of talking with their CEO, Stuart Early. We're going to do kind of an end of the year catch up and see what they've been up to, so you don't want to miss that. In addition, our pet of the week will be here from the Humane Society. Charthy will be here, so you definitely want to see who needs a forever home. And then with me right now is an individual that we have had on before, and we want to say welcome back. We're talking about Dr. William James. He is the executive director of Community Counseling Institute, and he is here to talk about a virtual town hall that we hope all of you parents and teenagers will be a part of when we talk about prevention for underage drinking. Welcome back, Dr. William James. How are you?
I'm doing fine. Thank you so much for setting this up again, Amanda. I really appreciate it.
Well, it's great to have you here, and I don't think that we can talk enough about the prevention of underage drinking. So before we get started, Dr. James, tell us about your organization.
Yes, thank you. The Community Counseling Institute is located in Tacoma, Washington, near the downtown area, and we provide education and treatment for substance use disorders. That could include alcohol, marijuana, tobacco, nicotine addiction, and various other substances. And we provide these services for youth, for adults, and for families.
Excellent. So tell us about your work around drug and alcohol prevention specifically.
Well, this is a very personal issue for me because I had a younger brother who started out at age 12 drinking Old Granddad, an alcohol, a Kentucky bourbon, which is still being sold, by the way, on the market. And so he developed a lifetime of alcoholism. And we were trying to help him out during his time with that, struggling with that drug. And so it's a very personal issue. It's in my family history. And we also here at the Community Counseling Institute want to make sure that parents are knowledgeable about the impact of alcohol and other substances on their youth, going all the way down to 10-year-olds. I've done assessments for people as young as 10 years old. And the average age is about 16. So we're trying to get the word out to parents. We're trying to get the word out to community that alcohol is still a dangerous drug to take in. And there are some people who will become addicted to it.
So, Dr. James, it washes over me the question of why is underage drinking an issue still in our community?
You know, here's the thing. When I was a young boy, I was able to go to state liquor stores in Massachusetts. They called them package stores. And we would put our coins together and stand outside, and someone would go in and buy us a bottle. That kind of thing is still happening, but youth are also getting it from friends at parties, and some are actually getting it at home. So we caution parents to make sure that they have their alcohol put away, that they don't have liquor cabinets stocked up with alcohol, that they don't have cans of beer in the refrigerator just available for anyone who may want to take one. So alcohol it's kind of a substance or a drug that is pervasive. It's sold, and we ended up privatizing alcohol sales in the year 2012. So by the time it hit the marketplace, it was probably 2013. But now everywhere that any store that applied for liquor license, Bartell's or Ace Hardware, of course, Costco is a big one, Safeway, a lot of places are now selling alcohol. So it's even more available, and young people are able to get it fairly easily.
So I want to play a little advocate here in terms of um, thinking about this, because I can hear many people thinking, well, if I allow my child to drink at home with the family, let's say it's Thanksgiving, we're all having a beautiful glass of wine with our turkey, and we pour our child just a little bit, to make them feel special and grown up. Um, why is that a problem? Couldn't that be seen as, well, if I get them used to it, they won't become an alcoholic?
That actually is a really good question, and some parents will actually do that. But the key is that's not illegal to provide substance or alcohol, let's say, for a youth in a home. It's not an illegal act, but it is stretching it when the youngster doesn't understand the full impact of the alcohol on their brain and on their body and on their system, on their behavior. So if there's an explanation that goes along with that little bit of wine or maybe a part of a beer that's shared at home, then I think that's not a bad thing to do. The problem is that a lot of young people are still in the stages of development. So their brain is growing, they're growing physically, psychologically, socially, emotionally. That's why Washington State passed, it's called Washington 21, where not just for alcohol, but for vaping products or anything that has nicotine in it, you have to be 21. And it's no secret that the adolescent brain is still growing and developing into the 20s. So I think your question is a good one. If parents are knowledgeable and informed about the impact of alcohol on their family, particularly knowing family history and explaining that to a young person, that could be a good educational tool.
So you mentioned something that I want to explore a little bit further, and that is, what are the factors that lead up to underage drinking? And certainly you just mentioned family history.
I think family history is very, very important. A lot of people do not know their family history. I didn't know mine until I probed a little bit deeper and found out I had some aunts and uncles that died fairly young, and they were in accidents related to alcohol, but I didn't find that out until later. So I think the key is family history. Another issue is age of first use. If someone is 9 or 10 or 12 and trying out alcohol, it's going to have an impact on their brain chemistry. It's going to change their behavior. It's going to change their outlook. Alcohol is really tricky. And in fact, it's a depressant. A lot of people think it's a stimulant because it might have that little feel-good part to it in the beginning, but it actually depresses our system. And interestingly enough, at community counseling here, most of our adults come in here with DUI charges related to alcohol, driving under the influence. And so for youth, they need to understand that there's an impact on the system, that everything gets slowed down. But it's tricky because we believe we can drive better. We believe we can sing better, or dance better, or talk to people better, when really it depresses our ability to, it depresses our inhibitions so that we're just out there more. Where some people end up dancing on tables or whatever they might be doing because the inhibitions are gone. You wouldn't do that under normal circumstances. You would not dance on a table, or you would not try and drive 80 miles an hour on the freeway under normal circumstances.
Dr. James, how does race and culture contribute to underage drinking?
That's a really good question. And in my family, I'm from African American mixed racial background. We had a drinking culture. And so it's important to kind of examine and understand family history. In other words, my aunts and uncles, mom and dad, would sit around the card table and they would drink and they would play cards, and they would drink and they would play cards. And by the end of the night, there might be an argument that breaks out because someone's had too much to drink. So I think family history is really important. I remember two uncles, one who would go sit in a corner, fall asleep. The other would want to get into arguments. And these were two individuals from the same gene pool, only a couple of years apart, but their behavior was totally different. So there's a lot of personality or individual factors involved here. Very rarely I run into a young person who just says, I don't like the taste of alcohol. It's not a common experience I have, but occasionally I have that happen. And in that case, someone is basically saying, I don't want to have much to do with this. I don't like the idea of the taste of it. I don't want to lose control. And the other part of it is that, in this age of COVID, with parties going on and some people ignoring masks and social distancing, I think there's concern now there's going to be even more spread because of people drinking and partying in really close proximity to each other.
Dr. James, you hit on a really good point, and that's now that we are, most of us are sheltering in place, we go out, we come back. There's an increase in consumption of media, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, movies. How does that play a role in either encouraging or preventing underage drinking?
I think that's a really profound question, in that young people have turned to social media in very large numbers, whether it's Instagram or Snapchat or TikTok or Twitter, or whatever they're into. And so a lot of young people get their news, get their information, they get some education from social media, which is not good, because anyone can say anything on social media. Someone could post a comment and say alcohol is the greatest thing in the world. Some people will actually believe that. So I think social media has a role to play, and I think that they could do a lot more with educating people about the dangers of alcohol and other substances.
Dr. James, I want to reiterate that your virtual alcohol prevention underage drinking town hall is Wednesday, December 16th from 6 to 7:30 p.m. We have been showing the website below for people to register. And I want to say thank you so much for your dedication and for your knowledge in terms of helping that alcoholic hereditariness stop, because knowledge is power. So I thank you so very much for being here today, and look forward to having you back on again real soon.
Thank you, Amanda. I really appreciate you getting the word out, and we hope to see and hear from a lot of people on our virtual town hall meeting. Thank you.